Hello and welcome back to TokyoCheapo. I'm Yuta.
And I'm Aimee, and in this video today, we are going to go over some of the top places in and around Tokyo. You may have seen them on Instagram, TikTok, top 10 lists of what to do in Tokyo, and we're going to be talking about, are they okay for first-timers to go to, or are they overrated?
Just a disclaimer, a lot of this is our very own opinion, but if you've ever been to these popular destinations and have your own opinion on it, let us know in the comments down below.
All right, let's get into it.
So the first destination is Meiji Shrine. And if you don't know where Meiji Shrine is, it's basically in Harajuku. It's in a really nice location and very accessible. Do you think it's overrated?
No, I do not think it's overrated. While it is one that most people will go to on their first time in Tokyo, it is very big, so it's not going to be crowded. You're going to feel like you have a lot of space. And it's a really just great example of a lovely shrine in amongst the city. You've still got some, some greenery. It's just really beautiful. So moving on to the second one then, we have Asakusa and Senso-ji Temple. So Asakusa is the neighborhood to the east of Tokyo, and Senso-ji Temple is the incredibly popular and we could say crowded temple that sits within the Asakusa neighborhood. So, is it worth it?
I think this is a little bit of a hard one because if it's your first time, I feel like everyone should go to Asakusa. I would say it's worth it. However, a lot of the stores that you might find in the area might not be of good quality. I probably can only think of one or two places that is actually worth going to, like the stores there. But if you go on like the outskirts, the outside of Asakusa, you'll find a lot more cooler things, especially with Kappabashi being nearby, which is where you'll find a lot of kitchen goods and silverware. I think it's pretty good. It's just that just don't stay there for too long because it is always very crowded. So the next one on the list is a little bit controversial because it is the beloved Skytree, the Tokyo Skytree, which is located actually really near Asakusa, and it's basically a giant tower. So inside Skytree, you can actually climb up to the very top and get a pretty good view of Tokyo. But what do you think? Is it overrated?
This may be a little controversial, but we believe it is overrated. The reason why is there are a lot of other observation decks in Tokyo. You have free ones, such as the Metropolitan Building over in Shinjuku. You have Shibuya Sky, which feels like it's a lot more within the city. It's not as tall. You can see a lot more of the cityscape because it's not as far away as Tokyo Skytree. And while Shibuya Sky, like Skytree, is crowded, Skytree is all enclosed, and honestly, the past couple of times that I've gone, it's been so crowded, it's really difficult to get up onto that glass and actually be able to see out. Whereas other ones, yes, while they may be crowded as well, like Shibuya Sky, you do have like the space to move around and not feel so cramped. So the fourth item on the list is Ichiran Ramen. This is a very popular ramen chain store. It's honestly, you just see it everywhere, all over social media, people going there. Is it overrated?
I think it's overrated.
Oh,
So I think it's overrated if you go to one of the main stores, probably like in Shibuya or Shinjuku, because a lot of the times the lines are quite ridiculous. You would have to wait 2 hours or 3 hours for pretty much a bowl of ramen. I would say it's worth it if you've never experienced something like that before. It's pretty interesting sitting in the cubicle and doing all the Ichiran things that you know and love. But if you're on a tight schedule and if you don't have much time, I would say maybe just try to avoid those places and try to go to a more lesser known Ichiran area.
Yes, so you could do like Shimbashi, something like that, where you're not going to have many queues. One thing we haven't mentioned yet is that, of course, it is really English friendly. So that's one of the reasons why it's so popular.
So the next area on the list is Takeshita Street. This street is located in Harajuku, and it is actually known as one of the most busiest streets in Tokyo.
And it was known, back in the 80s and 90s for a lot of very cool fashion trends. Now it is perhaps not so cool, I would say. It's quite touristy, it's very crowded. So for this one, we are actually saying that it is overrated. It is not worth it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff on that street is available pretty much anywhere else. Takeshita Street is known for a lot of trends starting there and then kind of spreading out all over Tokyo, but that's not so much the case anymore. I would suggest keep on going straight and going on the backside of Harajuku. That's where you'll find a lot of the more local brands, more Japanese brands for streetwear, clothing, and all that stuff.
So true. Another place that you could go to nearby is Cat Street. That also is a little bit less crowded. So those are some places we recommend instead.
So the next one on the list is teamLab, which is basically an interactive art exhibit. And there are actually 2 in Tokyo. We have teamLab Planet and Borderless.
So is it worth it? We would say yes. It, of course, is incredibly popular, and for that reason, a tip is that you should be booking at least a week in advance for tickets. But despite that popularity, like, there's a reason why it is popular, right? Like, it is a very beautiful, immersive experience. Of course, Planets is the one that has been on for quite a while now, and I think like that one in particular is one where you take your shoes off, right? You've got to kind of walk through the water. So I guess if that's not your thing, maybe Planets isn't for you, but Borderless is instead one where you're walking through these beautiful rooms with like all of the flower displays on the walls. You can kind of be immersed with touching some of the characters on the walls and making them interact with you. So maybe that one might be more for you, but yeah, worth it for this one. Number 7 on the list is Golden Gai. Now, Golden Gai is located in Shinjuku, and it is a street that is full with little bars, or izakaya as they're known in Japanese, and they usually only seat a small group of people. But do we think that it's worth it or overrated?
I think it's overrated. And the reason behind why it's overrated is that because a lot of the stores actually are quite difficult to get inside of. If you're with like a big group of people, you're always gonna kind of struggle finding a place. Also, another thing to mention is that a lot of the cover charges when you enter the store is quite high. It's around like 1,000 yen, which is quite abnormal for most izakayas. You can go take a walk somewhere else and find a better place with more space. But if you never really experienced the atmosphere of Golden Gai, I would suggest maybe walking by and enjoying it that way, but it's not something that I would suggest, unless you really like drinking.
We also have another video like about izakaya etiquette, which features Hanbei, which is another chain which is English friendly. It's nearby. It's quite a bit cheaper, has more food. You've got Torikizoku as well, which is, I think, probably an expat favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
So there are other options besides Golden Gai. And going straight on from Golden Gai, we have our 8th item, which is Shibuya Crossing.
Shibuya Crossing, I think definitely worth it. For a first timer, I feel like it is very important to go to Shibuya Crossing. Not only that it's a really cool area, it's iconic. You have to go to Shibuya Crossing at least once. Even if it is very busy and hectic, I think everyone should go. But Shibuya overall has a lot of activities. I genuinely love the Parco building. This is where you'll find like the Nintendo store and the Pokemon Center. There's also the Shibuya Scramble Tower, where you can go up on the observation deck and get a pretty amazing view of Shibuya and pretty much all of Tokyo.
There's also Hikariya building, where if you go onto the 11th floor, there's a free part where you can see down onto Shibuya Crossing. So as you can see, there's so much extra to do in Shibuya besides Shibuya Scramble. So we definitely recommend going to the Scramble. It's great, feel the atmosphere, and then go to some of these other sightseeing spots as well. Next up, we have Tsukiji Outer Market. Now, this used to be both the fish auction place and the market where you could eat. The fish auction part has moved to Toyosu, and now it's just the market where you can roam around the street, you can get some fresh seafood. It's crowded, and is it worth it?
Yes, I think Tsukiji is definitely a destination that you should go to. However, I think it is very overcrowded, and if you are going to different places throughout Japan, there are better and less crowded fish markets. For example, Omicho Market in Kanazawa. But it is definitely undeniable the fish here is amazing, and if you have the chance to go, definitely go. But just be aware that you might be waiting in line for a very long time.
Yeah.
So for number 10, we have Kabukicho, and as we mentioned earlier, Golden Gai is actually in the same area. Kabukicho is very popular for its nightlife, a lot of drinking, a lot of arcades, a lot of bars. It's pretty much an area for young people to hang out at.
Yeah, so it is Tokyo's red light district as well. You do have to have your wits about you a little bit more, but it is a place that a lot of tourists go to. And the question is it worth it or is it overrated? And our answer is that, as you just said, if you're into drinking, if you're into just kind of walking down at nighttime, seeing all those bright neon signs and the atmosphere, then yeah, it's worth it for your first time to Japan. However, if you are someone who's traveling as a family with small kids, it's probably not worth it. If you don't like drinking, if you don't like that atmosphere, it's probably overrated for you.
I would say, to get a little bit more controversial, I feel like that part of Tokyo is probably the dirtiest too. So if you don't want to see a bunch of drunk people yelling and screaming, maybe try to avoid that area.
Number 11 on the list is Ameyoko. Now this is located in Ueno and it is a quite long street right next to Ueno Station where you can see things like bars, you have lots of fruit being sold, lots of shops. Is it worth it? Is it overrated?
I'd say it's worth it, and it's such a good alternative to Kabukicho. Not only that it's less dirty and less busy, they have so many restaurants and, again, like you said, fruits and fish, and it's just like a fun nighttime vibe for sure. I also think this is a really good area if you like Akihabara. You can pretty much walk there if you wanted to. I overall just highly recommend the area. Speaking of Akihabara, that is actually number 12 on our list. If you don't know what Akihabara is, it's basically where everything anime culture comes from. It's a mecca of anime and manga, and also video games as well.
So, is it worth it? Is it overrated? We would say that it's worth it for a first timer, particularly if you are into anime, manga, video games, electronics. It's got everything there, and the vibes are really good as well. Particularly on a Sunday, they close the street down, so everyone can walk on the street, and it's really just quite nice. I quite like the vibes, even though I'm not that into anime.
I feel like a lot of the times people will go there with maybe a casual understanding of anime, and sometimes when people go there, they get a little bit too overwhelmed with the amount of things that they have there. So just know that if you're not really into that kind of stuff, maybe you can skip it. Maybe go somewhere else that you might enjoy more.
Yeah, that's a good point. We do have a video both on Akihabara itself and places for beginners where you can find different anime goods. So check those out. That might give you a little bit of a help for exactly which stores to go to. Moving on from the anime capital and into our next item, which is Don Quijote. Don Quijote is a massive chain store where you can find a whole bunch of souvenirs, honestly, just a whole bunch of anything, really. A lot of these stores are located in all of the popular neighborhoods in Tokyo, and they're like 6, 7, 8 stories of just anything, really. So, is it worth it?
This is actually interesting because this is the first one that our opinions are actually split. I personally love Don Quixote. I love the music. I can listen to it on loop. I love everything about Don Quixote. However, you said that a lot of the items in there are not as good quality as places like Tokyo Hands and Loft.
I think Don Quixote is great if you're not really sure of what you want, and also, for snacks like Kit Kats. However, if you're looking for, I guess, slightly, it feels better quality products, Loft and Tokyo Hands have really great stationery, really great, just like cute little items. And then also, just beyond any of the chain stores, you can find souvenirs at really lovely, different, unique places. We've got a whole video that we just made quite recently on it. I recommend that for really good quality souvenirs. Sorry, Don Quixote.
Don't talk to me. So the next few entries will actually be a day trip outside of Tokyo. It's not going to be located in Tokyo, but it's very accessible. And the first one we have is Kawaguchiko, which is a very beautiful area where you can see Mount Fuji and its glory. If you've been keeping up with a lot of social media lately, this is where you'll find the notorious Laugesen and Mount Fuji. So with all the hype around that area, Aimee, what do you think? Is it a bit overrated?
I have a little bit of a bias here in that I love Mount Fuji. Every time I see Mount Fuji in the distance, I'm like, oh, Mount Fuji!
Yeah.
So I think it is worth it, but probably not as a day trip anymore. We did a video back in January of 2023, which we released about doing a day trip around Kawaguchiko. And at that time, it still wasn't too crowded. We were able to quite easily hop on and off the bus, go to places like the Chureto Pagoda, and not see too many people. But these days, it's quite crowded. I don't think you're going to want to do just the major tourist spots, even maybe hire a car and, you know, get to some of those lesser known areas. So in saying that as well, it is worth it if you also plan, I think.
Yeah, I think this requires a lot of planning. There's always issues with the buses being booked, so you would have to really plan. And also, it really just relies on the weather too. Like if you go out there and you don't see Mount Fuji, well, there's really no point being there.
Devastating, devastating. Yeah. And that leads us on to an area which is very close by and which is the next item on our list, which is Hakone. Hakone is this beautiful national park. You've got a lake in the middle, you've got a lot of onsen in the area and Japanese inns, and you can kind of do this one circular route around where you take things like cable cars and you take a pirate ship on the lake and you take a ropeway up to this like volcanic steaming area where you can eat black eggs. So it's got a lot going on. It is also a little bit, you know, crowded. So overrated or worth it?
I think it's worth it. Unlike Kawaguchiko, even if you don't see Mount Fuji, it's still a pretty solid area to go to. Like you said, there's a lot of onsen, so if you want to try out onsen, you can try that out there. They have a lot of private onsens. Just try to stay a night there. You don't want to go there and back.
Yeah, overrated as a day trip in my opinion. I did it one time and I was exhausted by the end.
So the last area on the list is Kamakura. This area is right next to the ocean. We have also Enoshima nearby, which is beautiful. And they have 3 main temples in the area. And depending on what time of the year you go, you can see beautiful hydrangeas as well. Yeah, what do you think? Is it overrated?
Or worth it? Well, as Yuta said, it's got so many temples there. So it's kind of like you could almost do Kyoto near Tokyo if you're not going to Kyoto on your first trip. So in that respect, I think it's worth it. If it's your first trip and it's a very quick trip, you're just hitting, you know, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, I think that you could miss Kamakura because it is, you know, all of those temples that you can see similar vibes in Kyoto. So we may have made some controversial points during this video, or maybe you agree with all of that points. Let us know down in the comments below.
And if you want to see our take on the Kyoto area or even outside of Tokyo, please let us know in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys another time.
Bye bye!